This is Maurice Jones-Drew, and you're listening to the What's Bruin Show.
You're listening to the What's Bruin Show, part of the What's Bruin Show network, with your hosts, Jake Berryfield and Mike Regalado, and occasionally some friends, talking all things UCLA sports. And now, it's time for the What's Bruin Show.
And welcome to What's Bruin, a show about anything and everything Bruin sports. I am your host, Mike Regalado, and tonight I'm going solo as Jake is on assignment deep in the valley. So I will be taking on this task this week of chatting with you about all the goings-on about UCLA sports. But first, you can check out the What's Bruin Network with the What's Bruin Symposium, West Coast Bias, and the Bare Minimum. You can check out the Twitters, Instagrams, and threads at What's Bruin. Email us at whatsbruinshow@gmail.com. Check out our stuff at whatsbruin.substack.com. And search for WBS on YouTube. Search What's Bruin Show, and you will get our audio content on there. We're still trying to figure out the video, if we want to do video or for, whatever's going on there, but we'll figure it out. Yeah, so okay. You can also get your WBSN merch at mylocker.net/shop/what's-bruin. A lot of shush in there. Also, give us a call. WBS Hotline, 805-399-4WBS. Sacramento Drive. So, how's everyone doing? It was a quite a weekend, actually. There was a lot of euphoria. We were very excited here on the What's Bruin Show. But unfortunately, in the women's NCAA Final Four, things did not go as we thought. I'm not going to say as planned, because if it was as planned, nobody expected this, basically. So, yes. So let's start off with a look at the UCLA women's basketball team in the Final Four. Basically, it was pretty freaking brutal. Cheers. You cannot deny what UCLA has done this season. They were a really great team. The best under Corey Close, hands down. But they got smushed 85-51, and it was just no contest from the beginning. UCLA just did not have any fight. I shouldn't say they didn't have any fight. They pardon me. They were able to get their punches in when they could, but they just could not sustain them. UCLA couldn't get their fight on. UCLA basically lost every quarter. Everything started out 23-13. We've kind of seen that before. UCLA has been able to come back. But, UConn was just too strong. Just magnificent and surgical. Their defense was pretty freaking good, and they were spot on from distance, especially. And they just made UCLA look like a first-round team, a team that sneaked into the NCAA tournament and shouldn't have been there, and then just gets wiped out by number 1 or 2 seed in the first round. It kind of looked like that, unfortunately. And it was just a head scratcher how UCLA could not compete with this. And I guess I don't like to give into like sayings and phrases, but there's a reason that certain sayings and phrases occur. Like, they were not ready for the big time. Maybe they weren't ready for the experience. Well, at the very least here, they now know what to expect. And they got to come back stronger. But dear Lord, Connecticut was freaking amazing. At least next year, no team has to worry about UConn with Paige Beckers. Just an absolute baller. Azzi Fudd, that's a different story because she's returning along with Sarah Strong, the freshman phenom. Still going to give headaches, but yeah, UCLA again was just kind of a one-woman show as Lauren Betts scored 26 points on 11 of 18 shooting. 4-4 from the free throw line. Only 5 rebounds, unfortunately. 1 block, 2 steals. But yeah, the next highest scoring Bruin was Kiki Rice with 8 points. She shot 2 of 7. Yeah, the Bruins were just not good from the field. 38.5%, 25% from the 3-point line. Just ouch. Yeah, that hurt. Only 4 3-pointers. Out of 16. That's a no bueno. And a recipe for disaster. Still, one hell of a season. You can't just go, oh well, they lost big to a big time team. Well, they've been playing big time teams all season long. Maybe it was the fact that this was a new environment and a new situation which they haven't been in, but hey, they know what it is now. Either way, 34-3. 34-3 on the season. A program record, program best for a season. 16-2 in conference. 15-1 at home, 10-1 away, 9-1 on a neutral site. Just a baller of a season. And just the accolades all around. Lauren Betts, Defensive Player of the Year. Corey Close, Coach of the Year. Betts was an all Big Ten, All-American selection. Hawkes and London Jones, as well as Kiki Rice, getting Big Ten award selections. So yeah, it was pretty freaking fantastic year. But what happens next year? Well, a lot of people kind of expected what is upcoming, and the main thing is that aside from Angela Dugalich, UCLA is retaining its core as of now. As of Tuesday night, with the portal being open, the core 7 juniors to be seniors. Well, Leisure Walker's a grad, but still, 7 upper class persons, all of which are going to be gone after next season. They're returning. Lauren Betts, as of now, Lauren Betts, Kiki Rice, London Jones, Janai Barker, Tamia Gardner, Gabriela Hawkes. So far, heard nothing, but they should be returning. But dun dun dun, this came out on Tuesday that not 1 or 2 or 3, but 4 UCLA freshmen, which is the number of the 4 is the amount of freshmen they have on the team, are all going into the transfer portal. Things started with Kendall Dudley. Then we heard that Elena Aronsalo is heading to the portal, as well as Avery Kane, and then as we heard on Bruin Report, Zania Saka-Newman is in the transfer portal. So, wow, okay, so the number 4 class, according to ESPN last year, is just potentially gone. That's interesting. Especially Aronsalo. Now, I could understand from minutes-wise why she might go, because with Ledger Walker coming back, it's going to be a little crowded in the point guard depth chart. And, they could play, in the 2 spot, but that's not necessarily their game. They're facilitators. That's what they do. Kendall Dudley, she was coming along later in the season, and that was encouraging to see. I was hoping that she would develop into a hardworking Bruin. But good luck to all of them if this is what they choose to be. Then you got to go. Now the thing with really quickly, and Avery Kane didn't play that much. I think she averaged something like 6 minutes a game, 6 to 8 minutes a game. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. And then you have Zania, who also, like Dudley, they both went to Sidwell Friends, and I don't want to say package deal, but yeah, kind of a thing. I don't know if they'll go to another school together, but yeah, no, this is just an interesting move. If this is true, especially because these four can rule the school in 2 years. They could be heavy contributors next year, and then really take the reins after Betts and Rice and Jaquez and Jones and Barker and Gardner are gone. So that's and Leisure Walker. But just interesting. So Corey Close definitely has to go dip into the portal this postseason, off season. Sorry, and got to get some wings. They definitely need another big. She was able to get Lauren Betts a few years ago. I don't know if there's anyone of that caliber. There's not in the transfer portal, but a big, maybe 2 wings, shooters. She needs shooters. She needs someone to be nails. And going forward, the other guards really have to improve their outside shooting. Kind of faded towards the end of the season, but it's something that's going to be vital if they really want to take it to the next level. They were horrible when it came to shooting in the Final Four. So you don't want to have a repeat of that last year. Yeah. So anyway, but also for next year too, Sienna Betts comes in, so that's going to be an interesting / fun pairing with her older sister. Whenever they get on the court with each other, but we'll see what happens with the roster, how they're going to fill out those 4 spots. Ideally, that they could probably go with what they have right now, but no, you can't just do that. You need depth. You need backup. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye out on what they will be doing in the coming weeks. Hopefully, in the next few days, we hear about UCLA signing a few players. But as far as a few things, UCLA finished 3rd in the AP, and ESPN projected them to be number 1 overall. Now, they did this a day after I said it, so I should have some credit in that somewhere. But anyway, I also did say that UCLA should finish 4th, and they finished 3rd, and people gave me a lot of crap for that. But, whatever. It's my opinion. I just thought that beating was really bad. But I felt less worse when South Carolina got smoked by UConn. Just wow. Still, UCLA is among the elite. That's cool. Although they got to do something next year because it's kind of like one last hurrah for all of them. As well as they got to rebuild. Corey Close has to reload. Has to figure that out. Has to bring in the NIL, bring in the players, and things will be fine. I just realized I'm probably peaking a lot of these times when the volume is going up, so forgive me if your ears have been blown 17 times so far. But men's basketball, this is the state of things right now. Returning, we have Trent Perry, Eric Daly, Devin Williams. Oh, I forgot to erase that guy off. No, I'll get to that guy. Eric Freeney, Sky Clark, and Tyler Bilodeau. Moving on is Dominic Harris. We hardly knew ye. Dylan Andrews, who's at Boise State. Sebastian Mack, who, where did he go? Missouri, I believe. Yes. Then we have Devin Williams, moving on, as well as William Kyle. I think Kyle went to Syracuse. Can't remember. Blanking on that one. I moved past that. You should too. But I wish him well. I missed him. Miss him already. Daimara, as we know, he's not returning. Horrible mess. And it looks like he's going to Michigan. So now Michigan is going to have all the 7-footers. That's going to be an interesting matchup next season, where I believe I think it's at Ann Arbor. So that'll be fun. Anyway, who else is gone? Kobe Johnson and Lazar Stefanovic, because of eligibility. They're done. They have no more eligibility. And we talked last week about the first transfer recruit that Mick Cronin was able to reel in, Donovan Dent, a former 5-star point guard, overall badass, player of the century in the Mountain West Conference. came in from New Mexico. Guard play was a huge thing, and he seems to be, he is a very sound basketball player, very smart, very freaking athletic. So that's a huge plus for Mick Cronin, because they do need, as much as I love Mick Cronin's defensive philosophy, you do need an offense, a potent one, a very efficient one to win games, and that personally, that's something that I would like to be added. Just a bit more focus on offense. Obviously, not going to listen to me, but but then the signings continued throughout the week after our last episode. Jamar Brown, a 6'5" forward. He's coming in from Kansas City and will hopefully help out with the shooting, help out in the shooting department. Dude is 40% from the arc, 47% from the field in general. Had 16.8 rebounds last year at Kansas City. Very active along the boards too. 7.2 rebounds per game. So just a very athletic kid who, interestingly enough, he was not ranked by any scouting services, but yet on Mick Cronin's radar. So kid clearly has something that Mick Cronin wants. And if there seems like a fight in a dog who was overlooked, that seems to be the situation here. UCLA also brought in 2 big men. You lose Daimara, you're not really going to be able to match that size, but intensity, athleticism, strength, that it seems like that could be an advantage for Mick Cronin as he brings in Xavier Booker, 6'11", 240. He comes in from Michigan State, where he didn't play very much. Was it something like 10 minutes a game, I believe it was, but very effective. He's going to be fun to track in his stats per minute, for me at least, next year. Only averaged 4.8 points, but interestingly enough, from 2-point land, he was 62%. He even attempted a few 3-pointers, and for a 6'11" guy, 23%. I'll take it. And yes, he's not the only one. UCLA also brought in a 6'10" center in Steven Jamerson. Averaged 9.8 points per game. Was 54% from the floor. 7.8 rebounds. Pretty impressive around the rim. Pretty athletic. And looks to be, kind of a stud, kind of a Mick Cronin guy, kind of gritty. But we'll see, especially with this entire class and how they assimilate into Mick Cronin's roster. Now, interestingly enough, 24/7 Sports put out their top 25 for transfer portal classes after the national title game, and UCLA is not on it. Now, maybe that might change, but I think this is a pretty stellar freaking class that Mick Cronin pulled in. Still, though, at the moment, UCLA only has 4 incoming transfers and needs at least 3 more, at the very least, to match what he lost in the transfer portal with players going outward. So we'll see what he's able to do in the next week or two. But so far, it's a pretty solid class. Obviously, similar to what the women's team is going to go through, you have to add some depth. You have to add some role players. And it'll be interesting to see what direction UCLA goes. Maybe get another wing. Shooters are always good, as I said. A little bit more offense on Mick Cronin teams, and that would be pretty freaking dandy on my end as far as joy is concerned. All right, so football. Again, forgive me if I'm blasting your ears. I'm sorry about that. I'm doing playback on some of this, and boom, I'm like, oh, sorry, y'all. So yes, football has arrived. Spring football. Thank you very much. And it's been it's nice getting back out there. Obviously, I understand why Jake hates football because he's a communist. Why he hates spring football. But no, even though we don't know who anybody is, it's a chance to get to know who everybody is. It's weird that the practices there aren't as many open practices as there were in previous years. But and yeah, I understand Deshaun Foster wanting to keep the offense a secret, but you don't have to show it, every single open practice. You want to show what's up, but yeah, you keep that in the secret practices and all that, the ones the public can't see. Anyway, so it was the defense looked like a Malloy defense. We're missing, obviously, guys like Captain Schwessinger, Kane Madrano, Jay Toya. But there are a handful of guys on defense who know this defense, who have been with this team for quite a while and understand what is needed in Keka Malloy's defense. And even though we have seen shuffling of coaches on both sides, it still seems to be pretty consistent with what we've seen in previous years. The defense, obviously, they usually are a step ahead of the offense in spring practice, just because they see it every day. Offense is trying to go through stuff while defense has fewer things to watch, especially in spring. Especially if they're doing things vanilla, they can pretty much almost predict what is happening, and it's just how they're reacting. And we're seeing from the starting lineup perceived. We have Jacob Busich, who played quite a bit last season as an edge. Keanu Williams as a defensive tackle, as well as Siale Tapaki. Gary Smith is out there. That's good to know to see, because he's been injured like a lot since he's been at UCLA. But yeah, we also have Devin Aupiu on the other edge. As far as linebackers, Jalen Woods kind of stood out on Saturday to me. Donovan Pilat, he had a player or two, which caught some attention. But we don't know a lot of these guys. Benjamin Perry, Isaiah Patterson. The list goes on. and not just at the linebacker position, like all positions. So, but they actually looked pretty decent. And I do have to say the secondary actually looked pretty good, despite the fact that, again, a lot of new guys. Key Lawrence, yeah. You don't know that name, do you? Scooter Jackson, which is a badass name. I love that name. Yeah, LaRue Zamorano. So these are guys that are going to go through the reps, and we're going to see. whether they're freshmen or transfers, they have to adhere to this defense. So it did look pretty good, though. And maybe it looked pretty good because the offense didn't look great. They're still filling things out. Tino Sinceri, definitely it looks a lot simpler. And just from what we saw, there was a lot of 11 personnel, one running back, one tight end, which allowed for 3 wide receivers. And what they did was they kind of did 2 wide as well as a lot of bunch, both attached and, separate. But it did look very plain, look very vanilla. The majority of the completions were made within 3 yards of scrimmage. The run game didn't get a lot of running room. The defense really did just kind of like soak everything up with a sponge. And if these were like actual, if some of these plays were in games, some of these receivers would have been killed because the quarterbacks did not put them in great position to succeed. But again, they are filling things out, and especially at the quarterback position, where Appalachian State transfer Joey Aguilar seems to be the number one guy. Yes. But he did not look consistent. Kind of hesitancy. And it wasn't just him, but going downfield, the quarterbacks really seemed to have a lot of trouble trying to connect. Not doing, extra checkdowns before targeting their targets. And they really need to work on identifying the defense, even though there wasn't Malloy's defense was pretty simple too. You could have easily gotten around it, but you could tell that this team they're trying to figure each other out. It was the first open practice that we saw. It was the end of the first week. So yeah, you can't, especially in a rebuilding situation, you got to give it time. So hopefully we see a lot more excitement, maybe some explosiveness. But yeah, as far as running backs, Jalen Berger was the main guy, but kind of switched it off between a few different running backs. So that was good. Give them some extra reps. Quasi Gilmore looked pretty decent at the receivers. Titus Mokeayo Atumilala, very excited for him to come back. Rico Flores. It right now is situated behind Mikey Matthews, who looked pretty decent. But again, another guy who's trying to figure out what to do, how to adapt to this offense, who everybody is seeing for the first time. By the way, Tino Sinceri, if you haven't seen that video yet on Bruin Report Online, go check it out. 60 minutes of awesomeness. Probably my favorite coach ever. Like, if I ever need to hype myself up, I'm gonna watch this video, because that's all he did. He just not only first off, he gave a great history of Sicilian people, and he's a very proud Sicilian. Gave us a geography lesson, and then just really made you understand why he's here, and it is because he wants to help teach these players, which is something that stood out when Deshaun Foster was in the hiring process. Sinceri heard from other coaches, but he liked the player development, human development aspect of it. So yeah, he came over from Indiana, and rooting for this guy quite a bit. But we will see what his offense entails. Probably not until first game of the year. But yeah, so that's about it. Yeah, there are not that many open practices, and that's unfortunate, but I get it. They want to keep things under wraps, but right now it's just there's not much to tell. This team is trying to work together and trying to figure things out. So I don't really think that they're going to start really game planning, like next week. Obviously they're still trying to figure it out. Sinceri's trying to figure out what he has in his offense with his players. The defense is they're trying to find their roles. So yeah, it's just a lot of search and seek out bits of information how these guys are doing. But so far so good. Still a lot of injuries, but hopefully a lot of guys get back by the time the season starts. Anyway, I'm tired. I did more than I expected to. I will get this out as soon as possible by the help of Jake, who's, as I said, on location, deep in the heart of the San Fernando Valley. But he'll be back next week. And, we will see you all then. Go Bruins.
Good evening.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em.
That was the What's Bruin Show.
Try us tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.
It's gotta be in or out, Mom. In or out. Well, I need the door closed.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Dude, bro, we play some ball on the West Coast.
The final word is boob.